Just think about this, chat. These guys rob 6ix9ine. They go back home. The dude doesn't even throw his clothes into the laundry. This is how you know these broke. Yo, he wears the same clothes he wore to the robbery a couple days later. And while the cops are set up outside this house, they watch the dude walk out in the same outfit. And they're like, ain't no way. He got the same shirt on that he had on in the robbery. By the way, chat, I want to tell you, this is how dumb criminals are.
You are the one.
So 1090Jake dropped another video today, chat, and he's summing up what went down in 1090Jake. And this is for anyone, especially younger folks who, you know, I've told this to y'all. People who commit home invasion robberies or robberies that include you bringing a gun to take something from someone forcefully, you are taking unnecessary risk. Number one, committing crime is stupid in general, but if you're going to try to do crime that you're doing it out of not necessarily trying to harm someone and you're just trying to get money, you should never do a crime where violence could be included, or that you have to brandish a gun, because when you brandish a gun, you never know, you might have to kill somebody and your life is over if you do. So your life and their life, which is, you know, unfortunate. However, the people who went to rob 6ix9ine's house, and remember everybody was saying it was fake at first, those people, yo, whatever happened to the people who love saying shit is fake? When you get proven it's not fake, where do they go? Does anybody know where those type of people go? Because when this came out, man, people were like, yo, stage, that's fake. That's fake. That nigga 6ix9ine just trying to look for clout. Now we know it's real. Where are those people at? Do any of them ever come back out and be like, oh, damn, I was wrong. This shit was actually real. So anyway, video comes out and they arrested one guy, and apparently they now know, like, supposedly the other suspects, and they found it, and we're going to get walked through by 1090Jake how the police found and solved the crime. And if you are someone young ever thinking about doing something because maybe you have access to your mom's gun, or you have a gun yourself, and you're thinking of doing some really dumb shit like a home invasion, just listen to how this crime got solved and you will realize it's not worth it. By the way, Aiden's calling me. Why is Aiden calling me? Okay, let me start the video.
Paperwork.
Here we go.
On the 6ix9ine home invasion suspect. We know now how he got caught. And like I just showed y'all yesterday, this man snitched in a little vehicle skirmish that he had at a gas station parking lot. I even have the video of that, of him getting and then taking his phone out and I even got that.
Damn.
Let's get into it. Now, you don't have to crash to get cash. There's an app called Free Cash, and all you have to do is sign up and literally play video games to earn real money. The app is fully transparent. It's gonna show you what you're gonna get. You're gonna be able to pull out what you got, and you're gonna avoid ending up in a 1090Jake video. Y'all know I'm rocking with y'all. They ended up in YouTube history. 6ix9ine got his house broken into. Apparently this guy was one of the people. This is them right there. That is his mom. The dog is somewhere around. Two of them have guns, and they ended up getting caught.
Grab a soda.
Now, how did this happen? Let's jump right into the paperwork. On November 16th, 2025, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to blank in reference to an armed home invasion robbery investigation. After obtaining the initial information from the victims, I was directed to respond to the scene to conduct the investigation. Upon arrival, I made contact with deputies who advised that initial information was that three masked men entered the house with firearms and demanded money and keys to vehicles in the driveway. However, they left the area with unknown items. All the occupants were out of the residence and were identified as the following. Oscar Hernandez, a white male, lives in mother-in-law's suite with girlfriend, witness 1. Brianna Fontalvo, white female, Oscar's girlfriend, witness 2. Anthony Espinal, white male, friend of family who lives in the main house, witness 3. And Natividad Perez, white female, mother to Oscar and Daniel, victim 1. So this would be 6ix9ine's mom. Daniel Hernandez, white male, room on second floor of main house, was not home during the incident. I conducted sworn recorded interviews with the victims and witnesses who all advised the following. Perez advised that she arrived home and was in the kitchen area. She opened the door to the laundry room, which leads to the garage, that had an open garage door, and was met by 3 masked suspects with firearms. The suspects pointed their firearms at Perez, forcing her inside her home, and demanded money and the keys to the cars. Perez did not have access to the vehicle keys or money, therefore 2 of the suspects started rummaging through the house for items, while the 3rd suspect kept Perez in the kitchen. After failing to find anything, the suspects went outside with Perez, and one of them entered a black 2024 Mercedes Sprinter van through an unlocked passenger door. Rummaging through it, the vehicle was parked in the driveway near the garage. The 2 other suspects went into the garage and appeared to take small bags, possibly purses. Since all 3 suspects were distracted, Perez went to the mother-in-law's suite where other family members were inside. She banged on the door for help and was greeted by her son Oscar Hernandez and friend Anthony Espinal. Upon Hernandez opening the door, they noticed Perez there, who appeared to be scared and was saying she was being robbed. Perez went inside the suite, while Espinal went outside and observed 3 armed suspects all wearing masks. One of the males told Espinal to come over to them, however he went inside. Hernandez led Perez inside his home and called 911. The suspects then ran away from the residence. So, just with that right there was actually a few people home. Apparently there's a main house, and then there's the side house, and then there's a recording studio over the pond with the alligators, the river, whatever it is. Multiple people were home though during this incident, so we all thought it was just 6ix9ine's mom, or at least that's what I thought. And apparently these guys were so caught up in the fact that they couldn't find anything that they completely forgot to watch the mom, and she was able to go to the other people in the crib and have them call 911. Hernandez advised that he had home surveillance footage of the incident and provided the videos to the deputies, so that's 6ix9ine. I reviewed the videos from the house, which depict 3 masked subjects entering the house and making contact with Perez in the kitchen. 2 of the suspects are armed with handguns, while the 3rd did not appear to have a firearm. The suspect without a firearm stays with Perez while the other 2 start rummaging through the house. Eventually they swap roles, and the 2 suspects with firearms stand by Perez in the kitchen while the unarmed suspect searches the house. One of the suspects yells out to the unarmed suspect, who comes running back to the other suspects in the kitchen, and they all go outside. One of the suspects goes into the black Mercedes Sprinter van, and eventually they run east out of the driveway, or on the driveway out of view of the camera. The suspects are described as followed: skinny, wearing black, whatever, skinny, wearing black, whatever, skinny, wearing black, whatever. On November 17, 2025, I canvassed the area around the crime scene for video, however was not able to locate any video that collected anything of evidentiary value, meaning he couldn't find shit. I met with a security officer of the community who advised that a resident at blank had a photo of 3 subjects on their property and also had a card. I responded to the address and met with the homeowners, who advised that they have a trail camera set up in their yard which captured a photo of 3 subjects walking in their driveway on November 16, 2025. I looked at the photo, which depicts 3 subjects with flashlights walking in the dark. The homeowners also advised that they had located a card in their driveway which was recently dropped there as it was not wet.
Okay. So, I 1090 Jake's doing a good job of explaining it, but let's just think about it on a realistic perspective. These guys are clearly young kids. They watch streams. They see that 6ix9ine is away from his house. They've probably been watching streams that 6ix9ine has been on. They probably see only a few people. What they don't know is 6ix9ine has other people that lives at his house. There's guest house and other places on property that those people you don't see on camera. So these kids thought they had the drop on 6ix9ine. And by the way, that's kind of frequent. In LA, they'll kind of watch someone's social media activity to say, oh, that person isn't home. Let's go break into their house. We'll find some jewelry, some valuables, we'll sell it. The problem always comes with if there are people at the house. In this case, there were people there. The mom was in the main house. There was a whole host of other people in a side house. And that makes the situation tense. How are you going to prevent these people from not calling the police? It's not like back in the day where you cut the phone lines. Everybody has a cell phone. People could do stuff off their Apple Watch. It's really easy to alert the authorities, especially if you're around technologically, knowledgeable people. So these guys, they make an impulsive play. Yo, let's go to the crib. Somehow they find his address. There is possibly some, there's rumors that one of the people that were involved lives in that community. So they knew 6ix9ine lives down the block. They also, because it's a gated community, they let the other people who don't live in the community in. Okay? They show up and they're thinking 6ix9ine's away. They're trying to go in, grab some shit, and be out. Now, I keep saying, when it comes to home invasions, if you don't have a gun, you yourself could be getting killed. But number two, the gun is sometimes the threatening incentive for people to give up what they have until they don't. So they go with guns, which already puts you break into someone's house in Florida, you're facing life just because you have a gun. Okay. Here's some of the things, and this is why, I like to push this message. I know these guys are now trying to jump on the streets is dead thing. I like to say don't do crime is stupid in 2025. They go to the house. They all have their cell phones. Why? They're probably watching the stream while they're going to the house. They're making sure he's still there. Oh, shit. Now, he's probably going to do another segment. He's going to be at Jack Doherty's house at least for da-da-da-da amount of time. Cool. They got their cell phones. They clearly go in the house, and for them, the only thing they care about is we don't want our face. The old saying, no face, no case. Well, that's kind of sounds good, except cameras these days have audio, right? And it's so high tech, it could kind of see the clothing you have. Guess what these guys have? The cell phone in hand. They wear distinct clothes or clothing. Yes, they wear face coverings, but they're also speaking, and their voices could be heard. Here's how these guys are geniuses. It's not burner phones. They keep the phones afterwards and make many calls. It's not even the clothes. They don't even try to destroy. They're wearing the clothes days later. Their voices now memorialized on this surveillance tape, and you'll get to realize they took a bunch of stuff from 6ix9ine's girlfriend, but the actual things that they would need or would probably want, like hard cash, like if you take $20,000, you could spread that around real quickly, rather than you have like some rare, jewelry that has a name on it, or you have a purse that if you're going to resell it, unless you know a girl that's going to buy a purse from you, any regular retail reseller is going to say, where'd you get it from? Do you have proof that it's for real? Do you have a receipt? So they kind of take a bunch of stuff that's hard to peddle. They got their phones with them. They're talking on the camera. They don't destroy the clothes. They're wearing the same clothes afterwards. And also, this is why I keep saying doing crime in 2025 is stupid, because they're only thinking about cameras at the house. He lives in a gated community, one that's of affluent nature. Everybody has cameras. And nobody likes hearing your neighbor got robbed, because if your neighbor got robbed, you could be next. So everybody looked at their cameras and trailed the guys who didn't come by car. They walked down the street. They trailed them walking down the street. And that's how they could figure out where these people origin from. Again, these guys are called hook, line, and sinker. But even I know some of y'all think y'all are smarter than the average bear or average criminal. Impulsively, they decided to commit this crime. Of course they didn't think of half this stuff. And even if they had time to plan, they still wouldn't really cross their T's and dot their I's. Listen to some of the things that eventually the cops found out and then used as leads to get to an arrest.
The homeowners gave me the card, which was a Natrel device identification card with the patient's name, Alade Alter Alzugare. I collected the card and photo and later submitted them as evidence. I responded to blank and met with Daniel Hernandez, aka 6ix9ine, and his girlfriend Alade. I showed them the card and she immediately identified the card as belonging to her and said it was in her black purse, which was stolen. She advised that the following items were stolen, which she believed were all upstairs in her room. Gold and black Van Cleef earrings, estimated to be $2,600. Diamond necklace and nameplate saying Alade, estimated to be $25,000. A black Balenciaga purse, $2,000. A pink Chanel purse, $5,000, containing 2 insurance cards, $400. Her Florida driver's license, her Amex, another credit card, and a bank card. So it seems like they did get away with a couple of things. I mean, they got Van Cleef earrings, which are gonna sell regardless, you know, just because it's Van Cleef, if it's real. They got a diamond necklace with a nameplate saying her name worth $25K, but I'm gonna keep it real. If I sold this right now, I'm not gonna get the diamond worth, I'm gonna get the gold worth. Now this is heavy. I don't know how heavy hers is, 6ix9ine, he be dropping some bags. So they could sell that for the gold value. They would have to scrap it though and sell it to somebody that's not gonna make them be like, oh yeah, here's my ID. You know, you can't just go to a regular pawn shop for that. Black Balenciaga purse, 2 bands, pink Chanel purse, $5K. So altogether, we're looking at 30, 34, you know, they made off with over $35,000 worth of property. But this is where it gets interesting because this actually breaks down how they caught Pedro. Through the ongoing investigation, historical cell site location information was obtained for common devices that are communicating with cell sites in the area of both locations, meaning they went through every single cell phone that was in the area during the time of the home invasion. The fact that they can even legally do that and tell who is where at what time based on the phone's GPS is kind of spooky.
That's not kind of spooky, actually. What it means is that no police department wants to get embarrassed. Like, you have to realize the average police department is bogged down with crimes that it's not that they can't solve. I mean, yes, some have gone cold without leads for years, but a lot of times they don't have the manpower, the resources, and what they actually need to solve each particular crime. Right? That's the majority of crimes. Say Chicago. Chicago, by the time they get to solving a murder, the person who did the murder got killed by somebody else. Retaliation killings happen really quickly and happens back to back. So what they usually do, they kind of have a hands-off approach, or they don't prioritize on that. They prioritize on bigger investigations, or sometimes they look at habitual offenders, you know. So in different places, you know, they could employ many different tricks to solve these crimes. Here's why they're doing this. And by the way, the tactic that was used here, right, which is essentially this is a GPS. You have this in your pocket. It through a process of triangulation, they could figure out based on the proximity from all the cell towers that this cell phone pings what general area you were in. Now, if you happen to move, they could actually do a path, and it gets even more accurate because your phone might hit other towers. So this happens to be a huge GPS, right? Obviously, is what people use to get on TikTok. People use to call people, but it's a huge GPS. The cops usually aren't going to go that hard for a regular crime to figure out who did it. But in this particular case, Daniel Hernandez, aka 6ix9ine, is a huge person of interest. This would be embarrassing. It makes TMZ. It's all over the news, all over the blogs. They're going to employ usually this level of investigation would be if someone got hurt. Granted, not, I think it's equally as disgusting to break into someone's house. I think your house is the most sacred place you have on earth. I think if anybody enters your house, you should be able to kill them without a word said. Honestly, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that's the law, but it's in most places they respect that your house is very sacred. They employed strategies or investigation tactics that you would normally see with a murder, right? Like when they were trying to figure out the people who killed Julio Fulio, they looked at cell data and they tracked the phone going from Jacksonville to Tampa. This is a murder investigation. right? This is something that these people are definitely going to get life. This is a huge crime. Murder is like one of the most heinous crimes that exists in the land, right? Breaking into someone's house, no one necessarily got hurt, which I did have guns. Florida is gun friendly. Why did they go through this extreme to find these guys? Yeah, because it's a big name, right? Like they will look like amateurs if crime goes unsolved with a very famous guy in that vicinity. I'm not gonna lie, me being who I am helped me in my situation. Like when they told me the lengths that they went to figure out, so it was clear. Remember when people try to break into my house? It was clear the girl that was upstairs, which was my ex's friend. If you don't know, it's a long story. I told you the story, right? She sent the drop and her boyfriend pulled up, right? They knew it was the boyfriend because the cops chased them. They had the license plate. It wasn't a stolen car. It came back to him. So they knew it was him. There was a second guy with him, and the way they found that guy, they sent out subpoenas for Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, every social media, and email. Every communication app on the phone, and they found that early in the day the nigga hit up somebody saying, yo, let's go do some shit. So again, that's not normal for every case. But when that first happened, number one, I don't think it's only because of me. We live in Jersey, so people don't usually bring guns to crimes unless you're an idiot, because they're going to give you life or try to give you life. It made the news, and once it made the news, they start going crazy with like some of the tactics. Like the detective showed up here a bunch of times showing me like, yo, do you know these people? And I'm like, I don't know them. It was like, do you know this social media profile? We're trying to get his full name. Like the cops were on it. This is why I say like doing crime in this day and age is like, you have to be dumb. And not all crime. It's just like these crimes. Like if I was a criminal, I'm not trying to encourage no one to do crime. If I'm a criminal, I'm going to do most of my crime behind the computer. Or I'm going to do my crime where I don't have to do a gun. Don't have to have a gun with me. And if I am going to do a crime where I have to go anywhere, I'm going to not have a cell phone with me. I'm going to try to avoid all. It's so hard to do a crime, like a perfect crime now. You're better off just scamming. Just go scam some people. You scam some people, even if you scam $1 million, bro, they're going to give you like 3 years. Like really, like you get like 3 years. Yo, you run up in somebody's house and steal $300, they want to give you 25 years. Armed home invasions is like the crack of crime when you think about what you might gain versus what you risk. You sit here and do some scams or you fucking do some financial bullshit, you're facing like 5 years. You run in the nigga's house with a gun, no one gets hurt, you're facing 20. You get what I'm saying? By the way, so a lot of the computer charges are felonies, yes, but they don't have enhancements of weapons, and they're not aggravated in terms of there is no violent ends or means with them. So number one, you're gonna get out on bail, right? So when they think about bail, they're gonna think about, are you a danger to the community? Are you a flight risk? Will you fulfill? Will you come see this process through? Well, you're not a danger to the community if you're just a fucking hacker. They'll be like, all right, cool, we'll give you some type of supervised release or something like that, bar you from doing blah, 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 blah. Cool. If you're caught with a gun, they're going to say you might intimidate the witness. You might try to kill them. You might try to kill other people. You might get another illegal gun and try to do more things to get more money. Like, again, anything to do with violence usually prevents you from getting out. You know, if you finessed, I don't know, I'm not trying to tell no one to do these things. If you finessed, I don't know, fucking Chipotle for fucking $4,000, like they're not going to say hold this guy in jail indefinitely. They're going to give you a bail. Now, if you run up in TD Bank or Chase Bank with a fucking gun, and even if they had $3,000 in there, you're like, yo, give me that shit right now, motherfucker. Give me that shit. I'll kill everybody in here. Bet, you're never getting out of jail. Like, right? Like, come on, you know what it is. Like, again, the point what I'm trying to tell y'all is like, it amazes me if criminals just want money, And if I'm someone who just wants money and I have a little bit of a brain, I would think of the least risk I could take to get the most amount of money. And nothing that includes the least amount of risk ever includes a gun. First of all, once you bring a gun, you're probably saying that it might get to a point you have to kill or you might be killed. Remember that. When you have that gun going into that crime, you might have to kill or you might be killed, not only by the homeowners, but also by the cops who then are pursuing you because you have a gun. And if they see you even try to lift your hand and see something in your hand, blah, 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 you've seen this before. So you're risking your life. The motherfuckers who sit here and they do, whether it's crypto scams, they do financial crimes, they seem like, yeah, they get caught. But they seem like they go away for like 3-4 years and then they come back. Look at Bandman Kevo. Bandman Kevo said he was at a camp. Look at Omi and the Hellcat. Omi and the Hellcat is supposedly kicking it out like a camp. These guys are not on some like prison yard where people are stabbing each other up and be like, hey, yo, blood, yo, let me see that paperwork, cuz. Like, none of that happening. They're like hanging out. They're fucking hanging out. So, again, I don't want to encourage people to do crime at all, but I do want to point out continually how stupid it is that these guys, and you'll find out the guy's 19, he's facing essentially up to 30 years or potentially, well, no one got hurt, so not life, but he's facing up to 30 years. So, facing up to 30 years just by being dumb. Check this out.
Reviewing the T-Mobile records, they identified a device that was at or in the area of the incident during the time frame of the incident, as well as in the area of the additional recovered evidence recovered during the investigation, meaning they found a phone that was at 6ix9ine's crib and also at the homeowner's crib where the ID was found at. An additional search warrant.
Oh my God. Wait. Oh, okay. Oh. So that's what they did. So just think about it. Essentially what they did was they looked in the area of 6ix9ine's house. Let's look at all the cell phones during that time. So they could go to the cell tower, they pull the data, and it could be up to, like, some of these cell towers could have thousands of phones connecting to it, right? Great. They don't have to look through 5,000, 10,000 phones. You know what they do? They take that list, then they go to the other place that they already have a ping at, and they say, let's see what phones match both locations. So remember that they had a house that was in the same community down the street or somewhere that also had video of these guys driving past or walking past. Okay, let's match the time frames. Let's take the list of all these cell phones that are connecting to the tower that this location will hit, and that all the cell phones that will connect to the cell tower over that the other location that phone will hit, and let's see if they match. They match, and they found out who the kid is. Pretty simple. Like, this is like 15 computer strokes. Like, the idea, like, I love The Wire. Anybody in here love The Wire? I love The Wire. The Wire was so dope because you could watch these guys, like, investigating crime was actually a real thing before. Like, no, it's not anymore. Like, now it's like, these guys just give themselves up.
Warrant was obtained for the historical cell site location information for that device. The device, with the phone number that I clearly blurred out, was found to be associated with Pedro Daniel Rodriguez. Now, his location would show he went from Golden Lakes Boulevard all the way over to the area of the incident before going back to Golden Lakes Boulevard. They would do a background check on him and they would learn he's 5'9" with a thin build and that he lives off Golden Lakes Boulevard in an apartment building, right? Now, a detective would conduct surveillance at Pedro's home and see that he was wearing a black long sleeve hooded sweatshirt, black Adidas style pants, and black shoes or sandals. This is significant as this is similar to the clothing worn by suspects 1 and 2 in the home invasion robbery. Based on that information, they got a search warrant for his apartment. On December 19, 2025, the search warrant was executed by Palm Beach Sheriff's Office SWAT team, during which time the following occupants were called out of the residence: his mom, himself, and another person named Sergio, who may be his brother. When Rodriguez walked out of the apartment, I saw he was wearing a black Nike jacket, which had an air vent on the back, similar to the one seen in surveillance worn by suspect 1.
Now, just think about this, chat. These guys rob 6ix9ine. They go back home. The dude doesn't even throw his clothes into the laundry. This is how you know these niggas is broke. Yo, he wears the same clothes he wore to the robbery a couple days later, and while the cops are set up outside this house, they watch the dude walk out in the same outfit, and they're like, ain't no fucking way. He got the same shirt on that he had on in the robbery. By the way, chat, I want to tell you, this is how dumb criminals are. This is how dumb criminals are, I swear. I promise you. I promise you. And I have all the videotapes for this too. So in the surveillance videos of the guys who try to come do an attempted home invasion at my house, of course I turned over all the security. I got the best cameras in the world. Chat, I got 32 cameras around here. We ain't missing nothing. 32 cameras, 4 dogs, and 50 guns. That's all we fucking need. And so I turned over all the surveillance footage to them. And, you know, obviously they had known that the guy, what do you call it again? They knew that the guy was the boyfriend of the girl that was like here, right? It was like her boyfriend that she gave the drop to. Cool. Remember, they were looking for the other guy because that guy nobody really knows, and it looked like only that guy knows, right? Cool. When they finally figure it out, because they surveil, they do the subpoena on the TikTok, Instagram, and everything, and they get the conversation. They deleted the conversation, but motherfucker, you stupid. Like, yo, why do people think you delete the conversation is gone? By the way, it's the same thing with a chick. Like, she deleted the text message, they got it. So everything was deleted, but the cops got it. And so they get the message of the dude hitting the guy up. Now, still, that's not enough to say, you know, just an Instagram message of, yo, bro, come with me. They still got to do some more work. They probably got to go look at the cell phone records and find that guy's cell phone, and then kind of, you know, track his cell phone and see if it went to Jersey and do all that type of stuff. Here's the thing, though. When they got a positive ID and they were going to go and make an arrest, they go down to, it was in Virginia. They go down to Virginia. When they go get the guy, right? When they go get the guy, on the surveillance tape, the guy was standing next to the other guy who was the boyfriend and trying to get in a door at the crib. He had, on some K-Flock shit, some exclusive Jordans, like very distinct. You could see it on the surveillance tape. Like, it was distinct. Like some fire shit. Like, you know, you about to do a robbery or some shit, you got to do it in style. Like some web, like some Jordan, whatever it was. I remember the cops saying it. You know when they went down to Virginia and picked that motherfucker up, had the same shoes on? Come on, bro. Come on. Make it easy. Just make it easy. Just make it easy. So that, bingo, positive ID. When they caught him, he had the same sneakers on because they had distinct, they couldn't tell much about him. He was a, you know, not short, probably about 6'2", 6'3", you know, slender build, but not too slender. They didn't know too much, and they need really positive IDs for all these things. But they marked out that he had on these specific shoes. You know, when they went down there and they caught that nigga, the nigga was still rocking the J's, man. They was still rocking the same J's. They arrested that nigga and took the shoes off his foot. Thank you for the fucking evidence. He ain't, you know that boy wasn't gonna throw him away? Yo, I just went on a drill in my favorite Jordans. I'm not throwing these bitches away. Fuck that. All right, cool. Well, think about them Jordans for the next 25 years in jail. Yep. Think about him in jail. Yep. Mm-hmm. Same thing with these guys. Went up in 6ix9ine's house, but they probably wore their favorite Nike Tech. Yo, or Adidas Tech. I don't know. Yo, they're dripping. They should throw it away, but nah. Kept it. So the cops set up surveillance. Let's see. Ain't no fucking way the nigga walk outside the crib wearing the same shit he wore in the robbery. Brilliant. It's amazing. Yo, let me tell you this. I would love to be a cop these days. All you got to do is be savvy with the internet, and you can solve any crime.
During a post-Miranda interview with Rodriguez, he confirmed his cell phone number, which he has had for a couple of years.
Perfect. This is one of them Young Thug thing. Nah, I ain't snitch. I just talk too much. The reason why they say you should get a lawyer, unless you're down to be like, you know me, I'm telling. I'm all the way. I'm telling. Like, I'm telling. I know I ain't do nothing wrong. I'm telling. I'm cooperating to cooperate. Here's the thing. The dude who probably is on his Young Thug vibe saying, I'm going to lie to the cops and spin them, he, of course, is going to confirm basic information because he thinks the basic information has nothing to do with what they really want to know. So they say, yo, what's up? What's your name? So he tells them their name. That's harmless, right? Okay. And you live at so-and-so? And he probably said, yeah, I live at so-and-so with my mom. What's your phone number? They probably don't even say, is this your phone? They probably say, what's your phone number? You know what he says? Here's my phone. They probably even like gas him up. Yeah, you know, now we don't really got too much, but we might have some follow-up questions. What's your phone number? We'll give you a call if we have some follow-up questions. He gives them the number, and now they have it. Bingo. Bing. Because they had the phone number because they were tracking his phone. He's so dumb. He don't know they tracking his phone. So he willingly gives up his phone number on some Young Thug shit. Here's my number. Don't tell the world, okay? Just call me anytime, right? So he gives up his phone number. Bingo, the cops got the number that correlates to the phone that was in both locations. That's why they were staking out the spot, and that's why they got the goddamn they staked out the spot and made the positive ID, then got the warrant, and then they arrested him. Holy, he just told on himself. He don't even know it. Damn.
See, this is why I said in the first video, I think he's gonna snitch. Why are you sitting down with the detectives at all? You just confirmed to them your cell phone number, and that is the only.
Yo, Jake, he was trying to spin him. Sometimes you gotta flirt, gang. Sometimes you gotta flirt with the cops. You never know. Might be a baddie that's I'm interviewing or investigating you. Yo, take my number.
Piece of evidence linking you to this home invasion. They found a number that was at this address and this address.
Yep. They
ask if it's yours, and you say, yeah, it's been my number for a couple of years. You literally just made that their greatest connection to you.
Yep.
He further advised that he has never been in the homeland community and claimed on November 6th.
So now he's doing what Thug said he was doing. Oh, no, I was lying. He's like, oh, yeah, I never been in that community. Nah, I never been over there. What? So they probably ask him, hey, have you ever been over there? So he's lying, but they got the proof already. He confirmed the number. Now, they're going to do their due diligence in case maybe somebody stole his phone, right? But they know this motherfucker is guilty. He's wearing the same clothes. He got the same build. He fits the physical description, and he's confirming. Come on, bruv. But they're just playing a game with him. But you know what he thinking he's doing? He thinking he's spinning the cops.
2025, he stayed at his girlfriend's house and then came home afterwards. I asked if he had ever met 6ix9ine, and he advised that he had met him in traffic on Southern Boulevard. He claimed to get a photograph with him on the side of the road. I asked if he had heard about.
Oh, wow. So this kid, and by the way, unfortunately, and I've told 6ix9ine this a bunch of times, he's too friendly. Everybody around where he lives at, not too friendly. He's just too, he lacks cautiousness. And I don't know if it's because he's like, man, these rappers is pussy. But, like, he really moves around as if he doesn't care or he's not in fear that somebody might want to harm him. And that is troubling because, again, it doesn't have to be the enemy you know. It's usually the enemy you don't, right? Like, again, you know, in both instances, like, you know, somebody came to my house to steal cars. They were having the whole car theft epidemic around where I live at. They locked all them niggas up, though. But it was like last summer or the summer before. And I remember watching my surveillance video, and the niggas went inside my G-Wagon and my Lambo, and they were looking for keys. Because apparently where I live at, people leave their keys in cars. I don't know. Maybe that's some white people shit. Anyway, they were looking for it. And for whatever reason, I had my car door open. But, you know, I didn't know. I found out like days later. So I'm looking at the surveillance video, and at first, you know what the first thing I thought about? I was thinking, it's the same thing when Ruri and them like dropped the letter in the mailbox. I'm always thinking about, yo, who I got beef with. But usually, most likely, it's not the nigga you got beef with that's coming to your house, my nigga. It's like the fucking guy who's been plotting that you don't know. You may have seen him in passing one time, and he's seen you got a nice chain or a nice car or whatever, and he's like, yo, I'm going to double back. So that's really the thing about it. 6ix9ine took a picture with this kid. Yo, it's not all the tough New York City gangsters coming down there to try to find him. It's some kid he took a picture with who probably said, man, this nigga 6ix9ine probably sweet, man. He by himself out here. And he always popping online. Like, yo, we could go take some shit from that nigga. That nigga say he got $1 million in jewelry. You get what I'm saying? So, like, sometimes it's not the enemy you know. It's the enemy you don't.
About anything recently happening to Hernandez, and he advised no. I advised him that I located evidence in his room, at which time he advised that he wished to remain silent. At this time, I stopped questioning him about the
Okay, so he kind of realized he's caught up in some shit. And he says, I'm not going to answer more questions.
Investigation. This is only a summary of the interview. So, at this point in time, he hasn't confessed. He fucked up and literally admitted the phone number was his, which is linking him to the home invasion itself and the key piece of evidence that the detectives needed to be confirmed, but he hasn't said anything else. And I mean, this is a fresh case. Most people don't cooperate immediately. They cooperate down the line when they realize they're not getting out of the county jail and they're facing fucking forever. Upon speaking to Garcia, she confirmed her room was the master bedroom and Rodriguez slept in the front right room. She advised that on November 16, 2025, she was in New York. She provided Rodriguez his phone number and advised that the phone is in her name, but he has had the number for several years.
Now, hold on.
Asked her if she called Rodriguez on November 16th, and she advised yes, and voluntarily showed me her phone. The call history showed she called Rodriguez on the 16th, and she spoke to him throughout the day. I asked her if she had ring videos from November 16th and 17th, to which she advised yes, and provided the detective, and I asked
let me go back to
me her phone.
Here we go.
Immediately, they cooperate down the line when they realize they're not getting out of the county jail, and they're facing fucking forever. Upon speaking to Garcia, she confirmed her room was...
Now, I believe Garcia is the mom. I believe Garcia happens to be the mom. So let's look. Yes, it's the mother of Rodriguez. So the mom, and just like how y'all said, Queso's that, maybe it's a Florida thing. Because this is all some Florida shit. Maybe it's a Florida thing, chat. Which, by the way, you know, I did like, you know, I verbally scolded Queso's dad for telling on him. I think the mom is right here. The mom didn't tell the son to go rob 6ix9ine. So now when the cops pulled the mom into the interrogation room, they don't got that much money. This and third, they're all broke. The mom gives up the son. The mom says, yes, that's my son's phone. And the mom is truthful. So speaking of Garcia, that's the nigga's mom. And the nigga's mom basically is giving it up. That helps the cops corroborate everything to file the charges they need.
Not getting out of the county jail, and they're facing fucking forever. Upon speaking to Garcia, she confirmed her room was the master bedroom and Rodriguez slept in the front right room.
Now, why that is important is that she's going to confirm that, you know, remember, possession is 9/10 of the law. They found things, contraband and other things in the house. It goes into a probable cause affidavit to say we found it in that person's room. Whose room is it? Well, the mom is saying that's my son's room. Who do you have as the main suspect? The son. So everything is lining up. And remember, the son could have said, remember, he stopped talking. You know, you found some stuff, but how do you know the stuff in that house came from him, even though it matched him? Somebody could have stole his phone. Like, these are things you could take to court, right? I got cousins that come over here. Somebody left stuff in the room. It's not me. That's not even my room. You get what I'm saying? So you have some alibi, but the mom basically gives it up that, no, that's my son.
She advised that on November 16, 2025, she was in New York. She provided Rodriguez his phone number and advised that the phone is in her name, but he has had the number for several years. I asked her if she called Rodriguez on November 16th, and she advised yes, and voluntarily showed me her phone. The call history showed she called Rodriguez on the 16th, and she spoke to him throughout the day. I asked her if she had ring videos from November 16th and 17th, to which she advised yes, and provided the detective, and I asked the records. This is only a summary of the interview. I reviewed the ring video, and they are as follows. On November 16, 2025, Rodriguez and an unknown male leave Rodriguez's home. Rodriguez is wearing the black sweatshirt with a white emblem, black Adidas style pants with white stripes, and appears to be carrying a cell phone. The back of the jacket has an air vent on it. The unknown male with him is wearing a black jacket and black pants with greenish underwear. November 17, 2025, Rodriguez arrives home wearing the black sweatshirt with a white emblem, black Adidas style pants with white stripes, and appears to be carrying a cell phone. He is with another unknown male who's wearing a black jacket, a white undershirt, and black pants. So based on this description, Pedro Rodriguez is wearing the black sweatshirt with black Adidas style pants with white stripes, and he's carrying a phone, right? That's what he's wearing. So let's take a look at the actual surveillance video. So we got a guy right here with stripes, and we got a guy right here with stripes. But you can see this looks like a solid stripe. This looks like it has lines in between. I don't know if that's hair or not, because obviously this kid has long hair. I guess we'll see right now. That's got to be the Adidas logo right there, right? So he's got a gun. He's got a gun. I think this is him right here. I mean, it looks like they both wearing the same shit. But damn, they got him in literally the same fucking outfit to a T. I'm pretty sure it's this guy. I don't know. Maybe it's this one. Skinny as shit, right? Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Now, detectives searched the residence and located the following items. Inside a black and yellow bin in his room, they found 17 boxes containing THC disposable vapes, 50 boxes containing THC disposable vapes, an empty box containing the 50 boxes, red, white, blue bags containing marijuana. They found 3 purses, a pink Chanel purse, a black Dolce & Gabbana purse, brown monogram Louis Vuitton. They found more marijuana in bags, more marijuana. God damn, you just got mad weed in the crib. THC cartridges, and then boom, they found the Adidas sweatpants. They found a black Nike hoodie, a black polo hooded sweater. So they got basically the outfits, and then based on my training and experience as a narcotics investigator, I know the amount of narcotics located in the room is consistent with the street level drug sales. It is not meant for personal use. On the kitchen counter was a red Apple iPhone with a black leather wallet case belonging to Rodriguez. Inside the wallet were his identification cards. In the kid's bedroom, there was a black Glock 19 9mm with blue markings and an orange dot front sight with a black magazine containing 15 live 9mm ammunition. The weapon was apparently stolen in West Palm Beach in 2022, and it had a black extended magazine with 21 rounds, consistent with the firearm used during the home invasion robbery. Photos were taken of the purses and sent to 6ix9ine's girlfriend, who confirmed all 3 purses belonged to her, and she did not know they stole the Louis V or the Dolce & Gabbana purse. In summary, Pedro Rodriguez's cellular device was in the area at the time of the crime, and also where the victim's stolen card was located. The videos collected from Rodriguez's residence are consistent with the device's locations. The victim's stolen purses were located in his bedroom, along with several items of clothing that matched the suspect's clothing. Also located within his residence was a firearm consistent with the description of the firearm used in the home invasion. Additionally, he had marijuana in the room, which is consistent with street level drug sales. Based on the totality of evidence, I find there to be probable cause to arrest Pedro with home invasion robbery with the firearm, false imprisonment, grand theft 20,000 less than 100,000, and possession of marijuana with intent to sell.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. They have that one guy. I'm pretty sure they have the other suspects already. They're probably gonna lock him up, let him sit for a few days, tell him what he's facing. Hey, based on the charges that you currently have, you're facing 30 years in jail. We could give you a deal. It's possible that you're out of here in a few years if you cooperate. You might be like, what do y'all need? Well, we need the other people who did the crime with you. We need you to point them out, identify them, but we also need you to give a statement about their role in the crime. That statement you're going to have to possibly at one point, one day, testify on the stand to. Are you down to do it? He's probably going to say, yeah. They're going to say, listen, well, you know, your case is going to be pending the outcome of their cases, but we hope to, resolve both and you get a lenient sentencing, and that'll be that. That's just how it works, chat. So, yeah, that dude is definitely going to be telling. 100,000%. Okay. Give me